space where creativity meets practicality, and where we celebrate the diverse talents and perspectives that make us stronger together. It's not about fitting into a mold, it's about embracing what makes each of us special and leveraging those strengths to overcome challenges. Here, we don't just prepare for the future, we embrace it with open arms and open minds, crafting a lifestyle that values self-reliance, resilience, and the spirit of unity. Whether it's growing our own food, building essential skills, or navigating life's challenges with unique abilities, we're here to show that nothing can hold us back. Our goal is to equip you with the tools, strategies, and confidence needed to tackle life's uncertainties head-on and emerge stronger, wiser, and more prepared than ever. In this journey, we strive to empower you with knowledge, inspire you with ideas, and unite us all through a shared mission, to be ready, to be resourceful, and to be resilient. Together, we can face any storm, rise above any obstacle, and shine light on the path forward. Through collaboration and determination, we can create a community where everyone feels valued and supported, where no challenge is too great, and where the bonds we build stand the test of time. So, let's gear up, get creative, and continue this incredible journey of prepping, learning, and growing as a community. This is Unique Prepping, where every step we take is a step towards a brighter and more secure tomorrow. It's more than just a channel, it's a movement, a way of life, and a promise to face the future together. Are you ready? Let's dive in and get started. At Unique Prepping, we're all about building stronger communities and preparing for the unexpected. Now, we're taking our mission even further by partnering with Stolen Spirits, a powerful initiative focused on raising awareness for missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. Together, we're blending preparedness with advocacy, shining a light on the issues that matter most. Join us as we unite for a cause, inspire change, and build a future where every voice is heard and every life is valued. Unique Prepping and Stolen Spirits, stronger together.
Oh,
What up?
Hello.
hello, everybody.
Yeah. Hold on, Zach. You said I would be here by myself. What the hell's going on here?
I'm sorry.
You
did I
are by
recognize
yourself.
the voice I think I just heard.
Good evening, our prepping community, and welcome to the 33rd installment of Unique Prepping's Community. On tonight's episode, we are going to be discussing dealing with the mental fortitude of being rejected with unique abilities. I'm your host, producer, and community member Unique Prepping, and with me are my brothers, sisters, and our community members Mike from Battlefield Productions, Caldy from The Caldy Show, Matthew from Matthew is Silly AF, Shane from Sick 2210 Productions, Tug from The Unapologetic Geek, and Jamie Smith. Down in the description, I put their channel links. Please go subscribe and keep growing this beautiful community. Before we get started, how are you guys tonight?
Feeling good, man.
Doing great. That's a loaded question.
I feel great because I finally got over my cold. So like it's like the heavens have parted, and I feel good.
Cool.
All right. Hell yeah.
Right on.
I feel old.
Oh my goodness! Since we're talking about feeling old, my brother told me that his son is having a child, so like he's going to be a grandfather. I'm like, I'm not old enough for that. Come on.
I'm ready for grandbabies. I can't wait.
Oh.
I've got two.
Oh yes, sorry. Not in the intro. I just invited him last minute, and it was approved by Mr. Unique. That is producer from my channel.
Good,
Hello,
bro.
everybody.
Hello.
Welcome in, producer.
How are you, Zach?
That's good, and I'm doing good too. Thank you for joining me on a topic that rarely gets talked about. Rejection cuts deep. It lingers in the mind, echoing long after the moment has passed. It makes you question your worth, your place, your purpose. When rejection comes because of unique abilities, it stings even more. It isn't just about not being chosen. It feels personal. It feels like the world is saying you don't belong, that you're not enough, that no matter how much effort you put in, it will never be seen the same way as someone else's. That weight is heavy. That doubt creeps in. That anger simmers beneath the surface, threatening to take hold. Being told no. Being ignored. Being excluded. Doors closing one after another while others walk through with ease. The frustration builds. The loneliness becomes unbearable. The battle isn't just with the outside world. It's within. The mind becomes a battlefield, constantly fighting to push forward while the wounds of rejection try to pull you back. It takes mental fortitude to not just survive but to rise above. To keep pushing forward despite the obstacles. To refuse to let rejection define who you are. Resilience doesn't come easy. It takes effort to silence the doubts. To look in the mirror and see strength instead of failure. To believe in your worth even when others don't. To stand tall even when the world tries to knock you down. Every setback becomes a lesson. Every closed door becomes fuel. Every rejection becomes a stepping stone towards something greater. This conversation is for those who have felt that sting. For those who know what it's like to be looked at differently. For those who have had to prove themselves over and over again. For those who refuse to let rejection dictate their path. Together, we break through the barriers. Together, we push forward. Together, we prove that no rejection can stop what is meant to be. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. If you'd like to donate or send prepping items to support the channel, let one of my mods know, and we will drop the link to the specific need. Thank you all for supporting this beautiful community. Do you have anything to add before we start?
Yeah, I want to add something. How am I not a mod on your channel yet?
That's not
I only bring that up because I've been slinging out mods tonight like they were oxycodone or something. That's stupid. That's stupid, I know. Like, I made 3 new mods tonight. Bratty, Tink, and oh god, who else did I make a mod? I don't remember.
What?
Somebody. They got a wrench.
so Sick wants to start this live by complaining. Wow, bro.
Shut up.
Typical. Typical thing.
Wow. Damn.
Hey, it's on topic though. He feels rejected. He feels
There you
rejected.
go,
So
yeah.
Yeah.
Because of my abilities.
Look, Zach, I want to say your words are heavy, always, and I think it gives people something to think about. Really.
Yeah, I agree. He always goes very deep.
Yeah, like it's super.
no. Yeah. Like when Zach opens up the way that Zach does, I'm like, all right, have a good night, y'all. That's the show. That's it.
What else is there to say? Zach has said
It's heavy
everything.
though.
Yeah, right.
Wait a minute. F you, Matt. Sick looked like Billy D. Williams. Was it? Look here. Hold on.
I was waiting for him to see that.
Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
Oh, he laughed at it already. Damn. We about to put a Star Wars.
Nope. It's a Billy D. Williams
I
bobblehead
yeah,
holding
I
a
figured
Colt
you got one.
45.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
45.
Colt
Yeah,
45. It's the only beer you should
Yes,
drink. Yeah,
It's a very
I can't tell them apart, honestly.
Battlefield's going through a bad spot.
Question number 1. How can repeated rejection due to unique abilities impact self-worth, and what strategies can help rebuild confidence
Yeah,
after such
I don't know what's going
experiences?
let me do this first one. It'll have you thinking you're not equal. You're not enough. And with that, I guess a strong supporting cast, I guess, would definitely be something that'll help that. But I mean, as far as you know, going out in public and not being accepted is got to be tough. And I've seen that with my son a lot. He likes to go up and talk to people and sometimes just give out random hugs, and you know, it's not accepted by certain people, and I get that. I can't be mad at them for that. If you have no experience, then you know. But you know, Marley's got me though, so he's never gonna really feel that rejection for the most part. So
Yeah. I get that.
and Zach, you're ugly, bro. I forgot to tell you that.
Well, okay, I'll go ahead and go because I pulled a Zach. I tried to learn from the master, and I actually like prepped an answer. So I'm going to go ahead and read it. I swear I wasn't trying to make it about myself. I wanted to be general. So here we go. No matter who you are, rejection always hurts. And when you are spurned for things beyond your control, it hurts all the more. It is nearly impossible for these deeply personal rejections to not affect your feelings of self-worth. But in order to repair those feelings and inoculate yourself from future pain, you must first allow yourself to feel them at their fullest, to acknowledge rather than hide the pain. Self-reflection will then follow. And it's important to realize that when people judge you for what you are rather than who you are, they aren't rejecting you. They're rejecting something outside of you, be it your unique abilities or any of the other superficial qualities that they are choosing to define you with, even though you should know deep down that these qualities have never and will never define you. It's inevitable to feel hurt, but it's also possible to understand that who they choose to hurt isn't you. It's a fictional version of you. Therefore, you shouldn't let the rejection dictate your self-worth any more than you should let your unique abilities dictate what it means to be you. Tug out.
Yeah. I just piggyback off of that. Absolutely, what you just said, because you know, the repeated rejection. That's profiling. That's discrimination. That's prejudice.
Yes, absolutely.
You never know who can do what they can do. As I've talked with Zach about that, him and his abilities. A great friend of mine also has cerebral palsy, but you know, he talks a lot of crap, but he is a computer genius, and people underestimate that about them. You don't know who you're talking to, whether you think that they are disabled in some way. You don't know what that person can do better than you. And I'm a computer doofus. I don't know much. I've learned a lot of my computer stuff from my buddy, who has cerebral palsy, and he'll sit there and be like, "You stop, just do it right, type it in this way." And it was just like, "Why are you yelling at me?" It was like, "Because you're a dumbass." And it's fucking, I love him to death. Dear God, I love him. But people underestimate that perception. That is initially what I just said there, the profiling. You're going to just say, "Oh, they're this," the R word. And you don't realize this person is smarter than you. And what strategies can we help rebuild confidence and experience? Yeah, I think awareness. That's a tough sell, and it has to be like a selling market to get people to realize that, hey, that exact same thing that I just said, you got to realize that this person is probably smarter than you. How about you stop, take a second, and talk to them, interact with them? Interaction. Learn something about who you are talking to and looking at right now, face to face. Learn. I'm out.
I would say that rejection is your friend. As much as rejection hurts, it is going to help you in the long run. If you're instantly just loved by the first person or whatever, it may not be the best fit and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's kind of where I feel on that. I think everybody needs to go through rough rejection to really grow, if you know what I mean.
No,
It's
I
not
do
as-
totally.
It's not as poetic as Zach would say it, but yeah, it's one of those things
Right.
where I think if you're just everything you do, you succeed at, something's up. Like rejection is a very good thing. As much as
I gotta piggyback off of Caldy, because you know the saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and rejection hurts a lot, even for somebody that has abilities. It's got to hurt worse for somebody that has unique abilities, but it doesn't kill you, but it makes you go, hey, I'm gonna show you that I could do it just as good and maybe even better than you can. And so it gives you that fortitude to rise up above it. And, you know, everybody faces rejection. And what you do afterwards is the defining moment and builds your character. And that's it.
Yeah, agreed.
Zach, I think a lot of it was already said, and it goes to easier said than done. But someone else's opinion of you is none of your business. You know what I mean? But when it gets to you, I think, like he said, you just have to prove them wrong. You have a lot of people to prove wrong. Show them that they're wrong.
I agree. Nothing. Someone else's opinion of you is none of your business, but they do sometimes try to shame you or put you down and make it, make their business known to you. The rejection, the repeated rejection, that can affect different people different ways. Some people make stronger, thicker skin. Other people, it gets in their head and brings them down. I think the best remedy is a true friend, a real good friend that, has your back at all times. And that's about that.
Yeah, and I just wanted to reiterate, like, when people reject you, their perception of you is not, it's not your fault that they perceive you in a certain way. Like, what they perceive you as is what they're rejecting, not who you actually are. That's it.
Rejection isn't just a single moment. It isn't just being told no. It's a wound that cuts deep, one that lingers in the heart and mind long after the words have been spoken. When rejection comes from the people who are supposed to love you unconditionally, it shatters something inside that never fully heals. It creates a void that no amount of apologies or time can ever truly fill. Growing up, I had two mothers. Two women who should have nurtured me, protected me, loved me. But instead, I was just a piece in their lives, a prop to make their world better, not a son to be cherished. I was something to be shown off when it was convenient, then cast aside when the cameras were off, when no one was watching. I was never the priority, never truly wanted for who I was, only for what I could do for them, for how I could fit into their picture-perfect lives. Yes, I'm grateful my birth mother gave me life. Without her, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have this voice, this fight, this purpose. But giving birth and being a mother are two different things. I needed her love, her guidance, her support, and I didn't get it. Then my stepmother came into my life, adopting me, which I thought would be the moment I finally felt wanted, finally felt loved. I convinced myself that this was it, that I finally had the family I longed for. But what followed were 16 years of pain, of rejection, of realizing that love wasn't part of the equation. It was control. It was conditional acceptance. It was more wounds, more loneliness, more nights questioning why I was even here. That darkness consumed me to the point where I didn't want to exist anymore. Twice, I tried to leave this world. Twice, I thought it would be better if I just disappeared, if I just let go because I didn't feel loved, didn't feel like I mattered. When the people who are supposed to love you the most treat you like an afterthought, it makes you wonder if anyone ever will. It makes you question your worth, your purpose, your place in the world. And when you're constantly told that you'll never be enough, that you'll never be capable, that you're just a burden, those words don't just fade away, they become your inner voice. I tried to do things, tried to prove I was capable, but every effort was met with ridicule. I was called retarded, invalid, cripple, words meant to strip away my dignity, my humanity. Words that weren't just insults, but weapons, wielded by people who saw me as less. I wanted to work, to be independent, to contribute, but I was always overlooked. Passed over for jobs because I don't speak the way others do, because I don't move the way they expect. They didn't see my abilities, my mind, my determination. They only saw what they thought I couldn't do. And with every rejection, every lost opportunity, every moment of being dismissed like I was invisible, the walls closed in. It felt like the world had already decided my worth, and no matter what I did, I couldn't change it. But this community changed everything. This community became my family, my hope, my reason. Every kind word, every message, every moment of support became a piece of the love I had never truly felt before. This wasn't conditional. This wasn't about what I could do for someone. It was real. It was acceptance. It was love. For the first time in my life, I felt seen. Not as a burden, not as an inconvenience, but as Zach, as someone who matters, someone with a voice, someone who isn't defined by rejection but by resilience. This community helps rebuild the confidence that life has tried to take from me. It reminds me that my worth isn't decided by those who couldn't see it. That my unique abilities aren't limitations, they're strengths. That my voice, no matter how different, is still powerful. This space gives me what I spent years searching for, a place where I belong. A place where love isn't something I have to beg for, where I'm not just a prop in someone else's life, but a person who is valued, respected, and uplifted. Rejection may have shaped my past, but it does not define my future. And this community gives me the strength to keep going. UP out.
Okay, straight up, the world is a better place with you in it. Okay,
Well
we
said,
definitely
sir. Well
we
said.
see you. We know you. We see you as who you are, and yeah, you're here for a reason.
And I think I've told you this several times, Zach. I just see you as another dude now. Just another dude that pops up. I pop up on panels. I text you and stuff like that. Just another dude.
Zach, you pull out the heartstrings for real though, bud.
That was
I feel
deeply
like I gotta
personal. It
say
was
something
way heavier than I was
crazy.
expecting.
Yeah, I feel like I should say something off the chain to lighten the mood a little bit. You're a good
You're
guy,
a
You
Zach.
you've been my Zach, you've been my brother for 4 years, man. Don't make me fucking cry, dude.
But I did
I
notice I'm the
I
only
see,
female on panel.
I see Zach as a long-winded SOB that tries to make it all about him and wants to tug at heartstrings. Why would make you laugh? All right, I'm hip to your game. I love
He sees what you're putting down.
I love you.
What are we supposed to say after that, Zach? You said it. And you said it so well.
Yeah.
He's the one dude in all these panels that you just can't overestimate.
Right.
Mhm.
And Zach, you've overcome a lot of obstacles that they said you never would. Like, that's amazing. So you're here for a reason, and don't ever think any different.
And you're getting love from everybody in the comments too. It's not just us.
There's like that one whole principle. Actually, I think we're gonna get to that in one of the next questions. I'll save that for then.
Zach,
Question
you know
number
what? You
2.
also.
In what ways does
Oh, sorry.
society's perception of unique abilities contribute to exclusion? And how can we shift the narrative toward inclusion and empowerment?
I'll go ahead and say
In what
something.
ways
Oh, go ahead.
does society's perception?
Zach,
I was gonna say, Zach. You know, what with what you said earlier, you know, it shames me sometimes because I'm like thinking to myself, I had a hard day, I had a bad day, you know, and that just makes me feel like I'm selfish. I don't think about how others feel, how others have it worse than I do, you know, and it's a good reminder. It's a good reminder, bro. When you let others know, you know, that's why I try to. I could have a shitty day, excuse my language, but when I'm out and about at the truck stop and there's a cashier and she just has an attitude with me, I just smile at her, say, hey, have a good day. You know, because you never know what somebody else's day was like. You know, it's just too easy to be nice to people.
Zach, I think it's about educating. Like, sadly, it's the world that we grew up in. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, we can only make it a better place by educating our children or our nieces and nephews. You know what I mean? And just because, like people say, well, it's not a big deal. Something that's a big deal to somebody else may not seem like a big deal to you, and vice versa. Like, you don't understand. Someone could look perfectly fine and you don't know what kind of battles they're fighting. You know what I mean? And like he said, just put yourself in their shoes. You don't know what they're going through. Just a simple, even if they don't say hello back, just a simple wave or a hi could make somebody's day.
Very
Other
true.
Even
You
if they're
say
angry with you, just smile at them. You know what I mean?
you say hold on, I got it right here. In what ways does society's perception of unique abilities contribute to exclusion? Well, I mean, I'd start there, right there at the point of how they use the word retarded. Um,
Yeah, the
that right
perception is
there,
bad. Perception or
Mhm.
society's perception is horrible.
It's in the eye of
that's
the
Mhm.
horrible
beholder.
perception. Your normal, average, on the street, cup of Joe looking piece of crap. Yeah, they
Why are
see
you talking about
somebody
me like
that
that?
might act in might act in a certain mannerism and think that automatically, oh, you're this way, and know nothing about the person. When, like I said before, that person is probably smarter than you, has a higher IQ than you, can do more than you
Mhm.
can do. That is a sad way to uh be perceived, for people to think that way, just because, oh, you don't act like me, so you're lower than me. That's a messed up way to perceive somebody. Got I told you that story before, Zach. When we me and my buddies went with my buddy who has cerebral palsy, we beat up a bunch of guys at Six Flags, and they got kicked out and we got taken to the front of the ride. It's just that whole perception thing. It's just like they just saw him doing his thing, just being normal. That's all he's doing is being normal and all that. It's a sad it's a sad thing to go through life. Second half of that question, and how can we shift the narrative toward inclusion and empowerment? Talking about it, communication, actually getting there on the ground floor, and it's not about parading people out there on the main stage. It's not that. It's just education of, hey, you don't see the full picture. You don't. Maybe you want to take some time and understand how people are that are different from you and your perception of what you think is normal. F you. How about you learn about everything? Broaden your mind. I think that's the only way it's going to happen. But people are crap. People are. Dear God, can I cuss on here? Because I'm tired of censoring myself. But people are crap. People got to broaden their minds.
Zach says,
just a little bit, just a little bit.
be careful when you give Shane a little bit, you know.
Don't go ham.
So I'm going to go ahead and yield my time because there's so much stuff I want to say. But
Okay,
Zach,
I'm going to
just
say my
say-
piece, but it's.
Let me just say one more thing super
Okay.
quick.
Go ahead.
No, it's just quick. It also goes, it's not just with unique abilities, it's with race and gender, you know what I mean? Age.
It's all prejudice, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Stereotypes. I was just trying to.
No,
go
you're
on.
absolutely right, and
Yeah.
that's what I think Shane was trying to get at. Yeah, it's all just
Mhm.
judging people by what they look like and coming to snap decisions about
Right.
them. Yeah,
People are scared of different.
absolutely. So I'm going to say my piece, and I'm going to be repeating a lot of what's already been said. So, but again, I wrote it down. Anyone who falls outside of the norm is too often treated as an other by society at large. While there are plenty of people in society who are compassionate and genuine, it is all too easy for the general public to treat accommodation and inclusion as a chore instead of a human obligation or even a blessing. After all, though some may seem more normal than others, nobody at the end of the day is actually normal. We are all flawed. We're all full of sin, but society should always be there to lift us up. And people with unique abilities should be treated with no less dignity than anyone else. They shouldn't be condescended to or ignored. And it isn't a burden to ask them what they need to feel included and valuable, to feel like they belong as part of the tribe. The only real requirement is that we listen to all voices. And when we start to treat all voices as equal to our attention, we empower everyone and finally achieve that goal of lifting even those who are very different from ourselves. Tug
Yes.
out.
yes, absolutely. What a cute that comment you just highlighted, cutie pie. They feel uncomfortable. Yeah, yeah.
I think normal's boring, just saying.
Yeah, normal is boring, and I've often told my own son, you can be anything you want in this world, but don't try to be normal.
Right. I tell my kids, don't hate someone because they sin differently than you.
Yeah,
And as far as the societal norms or whatever, we have gotten so much better, much better.
Mm-hmm.
My uncle was wheelchair bound, and he was in a place in Memphis that they moved into when he was like, I do believe, 8 years old, and he died there at the age of like 50 something. And it was a place called the Memphis Home for the Incurables, and that's what used to go on. And it's Like I can't imagine that going on today. Like that breaks my heart to think like how much we were robbed, how much I was robbed of knowing my uncle, because I barely knew my Uncle Billy. I barely knew the man because we only saw him a couple of days a year.
Yeah, even that label, uncurable. It's just like,
Uncurables. Yeah,
they're
it,
just
sound,
trash
it
to be
sounds it sounds Harry
thrown away.
Potterish. It sounds
Right.
Harry Potterish.
it does.
Yeah.
Let me answer this. This is a really easy question or really easy answer. It's like I said earlier, the perception is horrible. We can easily shift the narrative with lives like this. You put out more than enough information. It's really simple.
No, you're not wrong. Like what we're doing here is actually helping.
Yeah.
And Zach, I also think that people with unique abilities, like they want to be treated normal. They don't want to be treated less than, but they also don't want to be treated more than, or like babies or coddled. You know what I mean? Like they just want to be treated like you're treated, or just if you're treating everybody like crap, then include me. Or if everybody's up here, then put me up here. They don't want to be, you know what I mean? They don't want to be put on the spot or held on a pedestal, or you know what I'm saying? It's just as bad when you see somebody and the first thing you do, you walk up to them and you're like, "Hey, how are you doing?" Like no, they don't. They can hear you. You know what I mean? That drives me nuts too.
Yeah.
They think just because you look different, like, here, let me talk slower to you, or let me, just in general. Educate our youth. That's just all. You know what I mean? That'll help a lot.
Absolutely. As
My
long as
kids
we
don't get
teach
in
our
trouble.
kids the right way.
Yes, my
And-
kids
and-
don't.
Society has a way of deciding who belongs and who doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
It creates this unspoken standard of what is considered normal, and anything outside of that is met with resistance, judgment, or outright exclusion. People with unique abilities don't fit into the mold that the world has set, and because of that, rejection becomes a common experience. It isn't always direct. Sometimes it's subtle, people talking over you, assuming you can't contribute, making decisions on your behalf without even asking what you want. Other times, it's blatant, being told you're not good enough, being denied opportunities simply because of how you move, how you talk, how you exist in the world. Society often treats people with unique abilities as less than, as if they are incapable of having real goals, real desires, real potential. And when that message is reinforced over and over again, it doesn't just affect how others see us, it starts to affect how we see ourselves. The truth is, much of society doesn't see people with unique abilities as people first. They see the condition, the difference, the things they don't understand. And instead of trying to learn, trying to listen, trying to include, they push away. They make assumptions. They put up barriers, not realizing that we have been fighting barriers our whole lives. A job interview isn't just a job interview, it's proving that we're worth the same opportunity as someone else. A conversation isn't just a conversation, it's a battle against every person who has ever assumed we can't communicate effectively. A simple interaction in a store, at a restaurant, in any public setting isn't just about being there, it's about whether we are treated with dignity or dismissed like we don't belong. Society's perception makes every single step harder than it should be. Then there's the way people use those with unique abilities to fit a certain image. Society often loves an inspirational story, but only on their terms. They want to hear about people with unique abilities overcoming struggles, but only in a way that makes others feel good about themselves. They want the feel-good moment without actually making the world more accessible or inclusive. They want the viral video of a person with unique abilities accomplishing something, but they don't want to hire them, don't want to see them in leadership roles, don't want to make space for them in everyday life. It's a contradiction that plays out constantly. People want to admire from a distance, but they don't want to include up close. This exclusion isn't just about jobs or opportunities, it's about human connection. Society isolates those with unique abilities, intentionally or not. From childhood, it starts in schools where kids who are different are often put into separate programs, treated as though they are too fragile or too different to be part of the larger group. They are talked to differently, treated like they need to be handled with caution, rather than being embraced as individuals with thoughts, feelings, and capabilities. As adults, the isolation continues. It happens in workplaces, in social circles, even in families. The world operates in a way that makes those with unique abilities feel like outsiders in their own lives. And that kind of rejection doesn't just hurt, it leaves lasting scars. Shifting the narrative means breaking down these barriers. It means seeing people with unique abilities as whole, not as a project, not as a symbol, not as an inspiration for someone else's benefit, but as individuals who deserve the same opportunities, respect, and dignity as anyone else. It means giving space, not out of pity, but because inclusion should be the norm, not the exception. It means listening to voices that have been ignored for too long, recognizing that rejection isn't just an inconvenience, it's a deep, painful experience that shapes lives. The world has to stop deciding who is worthy based on superficial standards. Talent, intelligence, kindness, resilience, these are not dictated by how someone speaks, moves, or processes information. These are human qualities, present in all people. And the more society chooses to overlook those with unique abilities, the more it loses out on perspectives, innovations, and contributions that could change the world. Inclusion isn't just about kindness. It's about recognizing the strength, value, and potential of every human being. Until society truly understands that, rejection will continue to be a battle that people with unique abilities fight every single day. UP out.
Yeah, no,
Like
don't let
to-
anybody accuse you of not being able to communicate your feelings properly, Zach.
Yeah, Jesus.
And
Jesus.
Zach, can we go back
Jesus,
to that? Can we go back to that comment that Heather made about them excluding children with unique ability in the classrooms? And that is a big thing to me.
Yeah, me too.
Now that
I've
because
experienced that.
right there, you're telling elementary age kids that it's okay to exclude these
That's
kids. You know what I mean?
that's a comment I wanted
disturbing.
to address.
Like that's
First,
very disturbing.
well, first off, what is normal?
Yeah, I can't.
What does
There is
that
no
even
normal.
mean?
There
Your
is no
normal,
normal.
your normal is
Not
probably
a
way
thing.
different than my normal. You know what
I
I mean?
can
'Cause-
I can agree with the testament of it is distracting for these kids. Yes, it absolutely is.
Maybe
That's
they
an
should be
objective
distracted.
truth. But
We
the
adapt.
second part of her comment is where that should lead to is these normal kids should be interacting with
Yes.
these not normal kids, however you want to label them, to learn about this stuff so they can know this later in their life. That
Yeah, it's not
kid
like
has
you're going to
every right
teach them
be there.
inclusion later. You should teach
Right.
it to
Or
them
teach them,
Yeah.
then.
yes, adapt to your
Yeah.
surroundings. Like if you can't adapt to one like teach them to adapt and overcome things. Like, yeah, that's sorry, I kind of went off top, but that's a
No,
very
like
I didn't think about that in that moment until she said it. I'm like, look, you're right. Even kids with ADHD that are over hyper, they're like, oh well, we're gonna put them in this class, and now they're just stuck in this one room. You know what I mean? Just any slight difference, they want to ship them out of the classroom so that they don't have to, or you got to medicate, or just just
yeah, when
what
my
doesn't
son
fit
was
the normal.
when my son was in preschool, and my son has special needs. I've talked about it as much as I want to. Like, I don't really want to give too many details, but
Right.
when he was in preschool, the teacher didn't know what to do with him, and so he basically spent the entirety of preschool sitting in the corner on an iPad while the rest of the class was doing their own thing, and that was intolerable. That I could not accept that, and we immediately pulled him out of that school and found a better place for him. And where he is now is fantastic.
Yeah, but
They
see, again,
treat him.
you had to make changes.
I had
for
to do that.
society to yeah, I mean that's bogus.
I agree. I shouldn't have had to, but it is what it is.
But it's about speaking up. I think anybody, like, even if it's not my child, I would, you know, what I mean, everybody knows I don't shut up. I talk too damn much, so I speak for. You know what I mean? I would definitely
I get it.
speak up.
Yes, blue butterfly. Yeah, exactly. Who sets the standard?
Oh yeah, I mean
Society
it's
is
disgusting.
crap. Society can't even get its
Society's crap.
own cognitive, how do you say, agree on anything. There's never been a point in time in history to where everybody agreed on one thing.
Mm-mm. Everybody's
Even
normal.
with
It's just,
9/11. Oh, this was a bad act. But you had a percentage that's like, it's justified. What? No, society has never agreed on one thing. Sorry, I just stopped myself because
there's too many
rant.
outlets telling everybody to do different things. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
like you're no longer allowed to think for yourself.
I truly believe that, like, I have hope for society.
Question number 3.
Everybody's getting better.
Yeah.
Like, I have hope. Anyway, go ahead, Zach. Sorry, buddy.
What role does mental resilience play in overcoming rejection, and how can individuals strengthen their mindset to view rejection as a stepping stone rather than a setback?
Could you ask a longer question?
Setbacks are temporary. Setbacks are temporary. They
Let's
are
break this
temporary.
one down.
I wrote a song called "Temporary Setback." They're temporary. All setbacks are temporary. They are temporary. They hurt like hell, but you get over it. You move on to the next thing, and it usually winds up that the thing that you wanted wasn't meant for you, and it's better that you didn't get that thing. So a lot of that, and that's mine.
Like, I think
Oh,
sorry, sick.
oh, okay, that's an easy one.
I'm just gonna say the hard thing about that is determination. It's hard to tell somebody it's gonna be okay if they constantly think that it's not gonna be okay. Bigger thing is, don't let today dictate your tomorrow. You start every day, you know. But again, when society tells you that you don't belong, you start to believe it. But then goes back to the first question: show them that you belong. Because mental health is hard. Like, it's really hard.
depends on the people that surround you as well. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if you got a hardy bunch around you, you'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, pain is hard, but when you finally get that acceptance, it is worth that pain.
It's gonna start with you.
It is truly worth that pain.
But sometimes it's hard to tell if it's real or fake. You know what I mean? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, I agree. And as someone who's faced a ton of rejection in my life, I know that. So I'm going to say my piece. There is no armor that can truly protect you from rejection. No magical way of thinking that will make a person free of the sting. It's important not to build walls out of bitterness or resentment, but rather to keep ourselves open and honest, especially when it hurts. Physical pain is the body's way of telling you what needs attention, and mental pain can sometimes work the same way, forcing us to look inward and see what we can fix. Pain tells us we are still alive, still learning, and even though it would be easy to dismiss all rejection, we should try to learn from every instance of it. In life, everybody makes mistakes, everybody gets treated unfairly, everyone experiences loss, and everyone faces rejection. Again, we shouldn't let the rejection define us. We should let it teach us, even if the lessons are sometimes hard to find or hard to take.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I got.
Everybody's got to learn sometime.
Yeah.
What role does...
I got what you're picking up.
The corgis. Yeah, let's go. Or Beck, whichever one.
what role does mental resilience play in overcoming rejection? Look, that I think I gotta get away from the special unique abilities thing with that one. That kind of bleeds into relationships. Um, you get with somebody and whatever they reject you, you either gonna suck it up during that breakup, or what else are you gonna do? Suck it up, act like a little biatch. Um, take it, but take that and understand and realize, that one wasn't the one. I can do better, and I'm gonna go ahead and move on. And what's the second part of that question? How can individuals strengthen their mindset to view rejection as a stepping stone rather than a setback? Move on. Understand that you can do better. Um, I might be getting a little personal with this one, but I'm trying to inadvertently do it because of my last relationship. But let's move on. That one wasn't the one. F that one. To hell with that piece of. Dear God, there's so many profanities I want to say right now. This is so hard right now. But yeah,
Most of us have had somebody like that in our lives. Yeah.
I think if you keep the right mindset, rejection can make you stronger. I really do. As much as I've had to deal with, I've definitely gotten stronger in my eyes. Made better decisions. You learn. Yeah, you live and you learn. You come across that same situation maybe, and you was like, "Ooh, this feels familiar. Let me choose this path instead, because I know where that path goes." And I think you can get better. I think you can get better. Yeah, I'm up.
Zach,
But
I
yeah,
think,
it's still really hard. Like,
oh yeah,
yeah, it's all true, but it's really hard.
I
Yeah.
think everybody, everything we go through is for, it's either a blessing or a lesson. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
And you
both.
can let it define you, or you can define. I mean, you got to pick and choose your battles sometimes.
Everybody's got to learn something.
Hi,
Everybody-
I'm back. Sorry about that.
Damn you, Caldy.
Meow, 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 meow.
And look, I also
Okay.
wanted to say that, Zach, I don't have any children with unique, but from the outside looking in, I feel like it's the same, if not worse, for the parent and the family of a child, because they go through, as they're supposed to anyway, go through the same emotions. Like when you're feeling it, they feel it. You know what I mean? And they
Mhm.
just want to take all that away and shelter you from that. And I mean, sometimes it's impossible. So the stress of a parent trying to shield you from all the negative and the hate and the bitterness, and also to let you see the light and to show you the bright side of it. It's hard. Like I said, I can't imagine, but at the same time, it's got to be difficult.
And that's the job.
Anyway,
But would,
sorry.
but would they change it? No.
Right? No, I mean,
Of course not.
yeah, we
No.
parents are sadly every child doesn't have that, but
Yeah, like Zach was talking about.
yeah,
Sometimes,
exactly. And that's why I was saying they're
Mhm.
supposed to. You would think they should. If not, then let somebody else do it if you're not willing to.
right?
But like what Zach was talking about, parents suck for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Lot of people. That's
And more
not
people than we realize.
that's not unique just to Zach. That's a lot of people.
Oh,
that
yeah.
Parents suck.
It's more the rule than the exception, it seems.
Yeah.
And then they get
Mhm.
selfish, and instead of letting someone else do what they chose not to do, they just want to manipulate and to I can't understand.
hear
I
that,
can't
but-
imagine, but you know what I mean?
Jesus, that's terrible.
Well, I just want to I want to point out like Zach's mental resilience talking about this, right? just imagine what would Zach have been like if he did have two loving mothers. Would Zach be the same person, or would Zach
Nope.
be different?
I still think it would be Zach.
That's
No.
It's an impossible
that's a good thing to.
hypothetical. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
an impossible hypothetical, but you would have to say no, he'd be a completely different person because it'd be a completely
Mhm.
different situation.
But I think
Right.
it made him. You think Zach, maybe you love a little bit harder and care a little bit harder because you didn't have that. You know what I mean? You just
I think so. Yeah.
made you more compassionate and understanding and
Mhm.
relatable. Because
think so.
sadly, a lot of people can relate to that. You know, and it's a
Mhm.
hard pill to swallow, but especially
What
in
do
2025, it happens a lot.
what do
sadly.
we mean by Zach having two loving mothers? Is that like a lesbian couple that
No,
adopted?
No.
His biological mother pretty much rejected him and mistreated him.
Right.
And
I know.
neglected.
Uh,
Sorry, you're trying to be
How'd
funny.
you go there, Shane?
cheap,
Then I was in
horrible
For
joke.
once, I
I'm
was in a
sorry. I
serious
apologize.
moment.
Admonished. Sorry.
Boo! Boo! Get off the stage!
Oh, I know what Shane was thinking when I asked that question. He was thinking lesbian couple. If
Right.
Zach was raised by a lesbian couple,
His eyeballs got real big.
You'd have bigger potatoes in this harvest. I don't know.
No, his lizard brain just heard two mothers, and he's like, "Ah, lesbians." Wait, what was it? What were we talking about?
Shane, shame on you, Shane.
I think he would be more.
Sorry,
obsessed with
the alcohol
Tuesday.
started talking. But
Imagine
I
that.
haven't cussed yet. Give me that.
That's true. You've been very restrained.
Yeah, so far.
Zach's got something.
Rejection doesn't always come in the form of words. Sometimes, it's in the way people look at you, the way they pull away, the way their actions tell you exactly how little they see you as a person. From an early age, I learned that people could be cruel without ever saying a single thing. I was just 2 years old when the world decided that I was different in a way that made me less than human to some people. A child, innocent, unaware, just wanting to play. But even at that age, I was already being seen as something to avoid rather than someone to know. My dad took me up to Washington to visit his best friend's family. Everything seemed fine at first. We were welcomed in, greeted like we belonged there. His best friend's sister had twins, a boy and a girl, around my age. Like any other kid, my dad put me down so I could interact with them, and for a brief moment, it seemed like it would be normal. But then, just as quickly, it wasn't. His sister scooped up her kids, pulled them away from me, as if just by being near them, I was putting them in danger. She looked at me like I was something that needed to be kept at a distance, something unsafe, something contagious. How do you explain that to a 2-year-old? How do you make sense of the fact that before you're even old enough to understand rejection, it's already shaping your world? My dad was livid, rightfully so. He saw what happened, he knew exactly what it meant. And in that moment, I'm sure he felt the same rage and heartbreak that I've felt countless times since. But no matter how angry he was, no matter what he said in response, the damage was done. A mother decided that her children couldn't be near me because of what I was born with. She didn't care who I was, didn't care about my personality, didn't care that I was just a child who wanted to play. All she saw was different, and to her, different meant dangerous. That moment didn't just disappear as I grew up. It became a part of me, another piece of proof that the world doesn't always want people like me in it. And that was just the beginning. As I got older, the rejection became more direct, more vicious. Kids can be cruel, but adults? Adults should know better, yet so many of them don't. They see someone who walks differently, talks differently, and instead of seeing a person, they see a punchline.
Zach, I need your opinion on
I've lost count of how many times I've been called retarded, crippled, invalid. These words weren't just thrown around casually, they were aimed at me with intention, meant to remind me that no matter what I did, no matter how hard I tried, the world would always see me as less than. People laughed at the way I talked, as if my words were a joke rather than a voice that deserved to be heard. They made assumptions about what I could or couldn't do without ever bothering to ask. They dismissed my potential before I even had a chance to prove them wrong. And then there were the jobs, the places where I should have been given an opportunity, where my skills and my determination should have mattered more than anything else. But instead, my ability to communicate, normally, became more important than my actual qualifications. I've been overlooked, dismissed, rejected, not because I wasn't capable, but because I wasn't convenient. Employers didn't want to deal with someone who spoke differently, even if I could do the job as well as, if not better than, anyone else. They weren't willing to listen, to understand that my voice, no matter how it sounds, still carries the same weight, the same intelligence, the same passion. It's exhausting, having to fight for every bit of dignity, every bit of respect. Having to prove that I'm worthy of the same chances, the same kindness, the same humanity as everyone else. But what's worse is knowing that there are still people out there who, just like that woman all those years ago, would rather pull their children away than take the time to see me for who I am. That kind of rejection isn't just hurtful, it's dehumanizing. It teaches you, at an early age, that the world isn't always going to be fair, that sometimes people's ignorance and fear will dictate how they treat you. And no matter how strong you try to be, no matter how much you tell yourself their opinions don't matter, that kind of rejection leaves scars. But here's the thing, rejection didn't break me. It tried. It almost succeeded. But instead of letting it define me, I found something stronger. This community. A place where I am not just accepted, but valued. Where my voice is heard, where my thoughts matter, where people don't just see my unique abilities, but see me. Every time someone supports this channel, every time someone listens, every time someone takes the time to be here, it's another moment where the world feels a little less cruel. It's another piece of proof that I am not alone. That there are people out there who do care. And that means everything. UP out.
Hey,
And
Zach.
it's not just you, buddy. It's not just you. There's Aaron Bilal that's out there doing it. There's there's the comedians that are out there doing it. Yeah.
Zach, I
Like-
want to say two little quotes that I used to stand by. One of them is
That's why I have rose colored glasses for this.
look. I want to say.
I'm sorry.
sorry.
Go ahead.
No.
Madam.
I kept
Go ahead.
interrupting you. I think I have a lag, maybe. But I always tell my kids that, I mean, anybody in general, those that matter or those that mind don't matter, and those that matter don't mind. You know what I mean? And that's always easier said than done. And then my kids, like you hear the world and everybody always say, well, we need to raise our kids to live in an evil world. You know, like we need to raise our kids and let them know that it's cruel out there and this and that. But on the other aspect of it, we should raise our kids to make the world less evil and less cruel versus
Okay, but
raise
how?
them to adapt. I haven't figured that out yet.
How do you teach a 2-year-old that this other kid that's in the same level as you has something with them, has
but-
cerebral palsy? How do you translate that over to a
But see, at the
2-year-old?
same time, they're so young, they don't know that that's
Yeah.
bad.
That's the
It's-
problem.
That's a parent problem. That's a
That's that's a cognitive problem. That's a all around the scale kind of
oh
problem.
yeah.
How do you translate that? I think that's what I'm trying to say here. How do you translate that to, this kid is at this age,
Yeah.
both of them just learning to speak. You see this other kid the same age with you in the same class, but they're acting differently, and you don't understand it because you're expecting the same actions and mannerisms from other 2-year-olds that act the same way
Right,
you
but
do.
when you
As a parent, how do you translate that over?
when you automatically
Just
pull them
do.
away from them or tell them not to play with them or remove them from the situation, vice versa, you could sit down next to them and interact with that child with them and show them that
Yeah,
like
teach them
they're
how to
not.
do it. Yeah,
Yeah, like, but when you instantly pick them up and move them away, or
you're
you know what I
teaching them
mean?
prejudice. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
same with race. Like, kids don't see color, but
That's
when you
not
sit
an
it,
answer at all to the question I just asked, but okay.
The question you asked is, how do you teach a child that, even at a very young age? And the answer is, you just do.
I think it's impossible.
I
No,
don't.
no, it's
It's
not.
they're
not
gonna follow
impossible.
what you do. If you sit down next to them,
I'll give you an example, Buff. My sweet little niece that I talk to all the time, that I love more than this world. She has grown up around a child that has so many complications that I can't even effing name them right now. I can't even effing name them. And she played with that kid, but she would just like have Barbies and stuff going on with this kid. I have no we have no idea if this kid understood what was going on with that, but we know that my little niece is growing up understanding that people are good. Like, she's going to be a much better person than I was in high school. Much better person than I was in high school, because I was a cruel son of a bitch.
This absolutely.
And
This.
see, I think
Yeah.
that might be
Yeah.
where the solution is. If they're starting off at 2 years old, this community, if you know, whatever you want to call normal kids and
That's
unique ability kids, they need to stay in the same school. Let these kids grow up together.
Exactly.
And that way
Yeah.
it normalizes
oh yeah,
for
because
the
once you point out that
normal
they're
kids. That's the only way they're gonna learn. You're not
Yeah,
gonna
'cause
tell.
You
You're not
have
gonna be
to
able to sit there
reinforce
with
that
your
we're all the same.
2-year-old.
We're not.
yes,
like
exactly, yeah.
like
Yeah.
Zach, you
If you
went
treat 'em like they're different.
you went to high school and middle school and stuff like that, right? Correct? Okay. I graduated in 96. I had no I was trying to remember earlier when I was thinking about unique abilities. I was like, I can't remember anyone in my class that was in a wheelchair. I can't remember a single person. I don't think they were there. I don't think they were there. So things are getting better slowly, but things are getting better. And also, when I use the R word, it's usually aimed at people like Buff. You know, it's never an insult to someone. It's never a deep cut to anyone. It's I have nothing else to say other than this word. That still makes me a horrible person, but
It just makes you
Like-
Gen X, man. It's all
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
It's like-
I'm an edgy boy.
It's like, I think it goes back to what you were saying. Once society and the world that you grow up in tells you that they're different, then you're automatically going to think they're different. So keep them in the classroom and coexisting every day would definitely help a lot.
Yeah, something I didn't necessarily believe until I had a kid of my own and I saw it with my own eyes is that prejudice really is taught a lot more than is inherent. Like, kids, for the most part, already come default, like factory settings is everybody is equal to me. Like, you have to actually over time develop prejudice and ego through reinforcement on the outside world from nurture, not nature. And I think as long as you fight tooth and nail not to teach prejudice to your child, you've done most of the work. You haven't done all of the work, but you've done most of the work. And as long as you have an environment that is inclusive, that you are exposed to every type of person that you can in your own community, I think the child will grow up to be a more wholesome and inclusive person.
Yes.
And that, like I said, that's something I'm not necessarily, I probably wouldn't have believed it if you told me that before I had a kid of my own. So,
But see, you can only teach them so much before society taints their thoughts.
yeah,
and-
society's going to do its damnedest to teach your child to be
Mhm.
as prejudiced as possible.
And then one bad apple sometimes ruins it as well. I mean, there's so many things involved in that.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's hard. It's an almost impossible task.
Yeah, so sick. That was a really good thing to think about. Really.
It's a balancing act, and
Yeah.
you have no control over the balance
Hmm.
other than like just hoping. But like yeah, it's one of those
This is
things
why
where
I
like
don't have kids.
when you grow up with people, like I'm in Mississippi. I grew up going to school with black people. I have no racism towards black people, none. Right?
You called me the
Well,
other day.
that was on private chat, and you're not supposed to bring that up. That's one of those things like where you, like, yeah, it's like people are people, you know.
Why should it be that
I
you and I
truly
should
don't,
get
I
along so
truly, I
awfully?
truly don't think you become an asshole until you're an adult and you start getting bitter about life.
It's the learning to not become bitter that is really hard, and that's what rejection wants you to do. Rejection wants you to become bitter.
Bringing it back to rejection, yes, sir. Rejection will make you bitter as hell if you don't embrace rejection and just roll with it. It will eat you up inside.
And I think some conversations are uncomfortable for parents to have with their kids, and sometimes it's those uncomfortable conversations that they need. Like, and it's uncomfortable for them and you, but it's necessary.
Yeah, I always try as a parent to think, like the things that I would do for my kid. Like, if I absolutely had to, I would like cut off my arm for my kid. So if I'm willing to do that, I can have an uncomfortable conversation.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'll be right back. I'm going to feed my cat.
Question number 4. How can a strong community or support system help mitigate the emotional toll of rejection? And what can be done to foster a more accepting environment?
Larger magazines on. I don't know. That was just when you sent me the questions. That was my first thought. I was just like, "Yep, the larger magazines."
Never change, man. Never change.
Outreach. Just I guess like what we were talking about before, is more education, the community actually coming together to learn more and more and accepting and understanding about what it is for those who don't know what it's like to go through life like that in a certain state, a certain way. Community outreach, awareness, definitely help. And we work together. Everybody work together to make life accommodating for them. Therefore, with the person with a unique ability, they can do what they can do to help accommodate to them. It's just like, meeting the middle point. As we get closer to, oh, dear God, how do I want to say this? As we get closer to understanding each other, I think we can evolve into a perfect society. Maybe not perfect, but a better society. A better society. And what can be done to foster a more accepting? Oh, yeah. Okay, I think I just answered all that with what I wanted to say on that one.
Okay.
The emotional toll of rejection, basically get some strong people on your side, and for the haters, get your strong people to speak for you and say, "Hey, F you, buddy. Well, I'm not your buddy guy. I'm not your guy, buddy. I'm not your buddy friend," and all that stuff. Get the stronger people to speak on your side. You get them on your side to learn what your unique ability can do for them and have them. And I'm not saying manipulating, but you get that strength on your side and try to educate the other side.
Zach, I think what
And
you're
I'm gonna stop
sorry,
talking.
sorry.
No, I'm gonna
Zach,
stop. I'm done. I'm done.
I think what you're doing is a big step in fostering more, to help people become more accepting for even someone with the same, differences or whatever they want to call it, struggles. I think you stepping up and doing what you're doing shows other people that they can do it too. You know what I mean? Like just that one, if one person watches your video and it's like, hey, I struggle with this, look at him doing it, I can do it too. You know what I'm saying? Just actions speak louder than words. So when you're showing the world that you've overcome all of this, and you know what I mean, and hopefully even if it just reaches one person, it makes them step up and know that they're worthy and they as well can do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm gonna say my piece, which is again, I'm basically just repeating what you guys both said. If any community is strong, it will rally to those in pain. No matter how large or small the community, even if it's just a small circle of friends, it all boils down to communication. Healthy communities nurture this, reinforce the idea that anyone who is in need should be able to say so, or that anybody who notices that something is wrong should be able to ask if somebody needs help. There shouldn't be shame, embarrassment, or judgment when a member of our community is in need. We should deal with the need first and then worry about how it happened and how to prevent it from happening again. Treat everybody as though they were your family, and acceptance will usually follow. Tug out.
The unique prepping community is more than just a collection of people who watch videos, comment, and interact. It's a family, a safe haven, a place where people who have been cast aside, ignored, ridiculed, or underestimated can come together and finally feel seen. It's a space that welcomes not just preppers, but people from all walks of life, people who have felt the sting of rejection, who have been told they weren't good enough, who have struggled to find their place in a world that often doesn't make room for those who don't fit the mold. This community was built on resilience, on the understanding that strength isn't just about physical capability or societal status. True strength is mental, emotional, and spiritual. True strength is surviving when the world tells you that you won't. It's pushing forward when every door has been slammed in your face. It's continuing to fight, learn, and grow even when the odds are stacked against you. That's what the unique prepping community represents in a world where people are often divided, where mainstream prepping circles focus solely on gear, tactics, and stockpiles. This community takes a different approach. Prepping isn't just about survival, it's about connection, about community, about helping each other prepare for the future in a way that includes everyone, not just the strongest, the fastest, or the wealthiest. It's about making sure that those who have been overlooked, those who have been counted out, still have a chance to stand strong. Because prepping isn't just about food and supplies, it's about mental fortitude, emotional endurance, and the ability to hold on to hope even when everything else seems lost. And for me, this community is personal. It's not just something I created, it's something that saved me. Growing up, I didn't have a place where I truly belonged. I was rejected, overlooked in schools, mocked by strangers, passed over for jobs. At every turn, the world tried to tell me I was less than, that I wasn't worthy, that I was a burden, that I didn't belong. And for a long time, I believed them. I let that rejection eat away at me. I let it push me into darkness, into moments where I didn't even want to exist anymore. Because when you spend your entire life being treated like you don't matter, you start to believe it. But then something changed. I found my voice. I found people who actually listened. And slowly, I started building something that wasn't just about me, but about everyone who has ever felt like they didn't belong. Unique Prepping isn't just a YouTube channel. It's a movement. It's a place where people can come together, support each other, and remind one another that they matter. It's a space where the conversations go beyond prepping and into something deeper, something that touches on mental health, emotional strength, faith, and the reality of what it means to navigate this world with unique abilities. The love, support, and encouragement I've found here is something I never experienced growing up. It's the kind of acceptance I never thought I'd have. And it's proof that no matter what the world says, no matter how many times people try to tear you down, there are still good people out there. People who will lift you up, who will stand by you, who will remind you that your story isn't over. I've seen firsthand how powerful this community is. I've watched people step up to help others when they were struggling, offering advice, kindness, and support without expecting anything in return. I've witnessed people who felt alone finally find a place where they belong. And that's the beauty of unique prepping. It's not about one person. It's about all of us. So when I say that this community is special, I mean it. When I say that this community gives me hope, I mean it. When I say that I wouldn't be here without this community, I mean it with everything in me. Every person who comments, who likes, who subscribes, who shares, who takes the time to be a part of this, you are making a difference. You are creating something beautiful, something strong, something that cannot be taken away no matter how much rejection or negativity the world throws at us. And that is what makes Unique Prepping more than just a channel. It makes it a home. UP out.
You know, as easy as it is to like be old man yells at cloud about the internet, stories like that reinforce the idea that the internet can be a force for good. And you
Yes.
found this community, you found us, and we found you, and we're all stronger for it, right?
And Zach, sometimes people just need a place to tell their story. You know what I mean? Or just speak in general.
Zach,
Yeah.
once again, you're just a dude in my eyes. You're just a dude. You're just another dude that I talk to. That's it. I don't ever think like, hey, I've got to do this because Zach can't do that. Nope. Like, nope. You're just a dude.
And Zach, you're very inspiring for sure.
Yeah, and
You
I would never say
inspire-
there's
Right.
nothing you can't do. You'd stab me. I've seen your knives.
Oh God. we have seen you try to open a box. It's scary.
Yes.
It's scary.
I blame Mayhem for this. I blame you, Mayhem. Battlefield Productions. Anyway, you got me stuck in here with this guy. This guy. This unique mother effer. We've gotten to the point to where this guy is insightful and thoughtful and spitting out truth bombs and knowledge and being so meaningful with his statements. It's just like, how can you follow this guy?
Yeah, we're
How
all
can
just
you
schmucks,
say
right?
anything after him? I blame you, Mayhem. And if I ever come across you on the road, man, look here. I don't go past I-35, but if I ever come across you on my territory on the East Coast, look here, we're gonna have problems. I'm gonna call you later.
Wait, go back. Screenshot that. I gotta go back and screenshot that.
He's like, we're friends, but
This
F
one?
you.
Go for
Yeah,
it.
gotta screenshot that one. Yeah. There we go.
Validation for Caldy.
Yes, Zach.
I'm the-
Don't encourage him, Mayhem.
You're one. At this point, we don't see you as anything different than that guy. You know what I mean? Like Sick was saying, you are just that guy to us. You know.
Yeah, like Caldy's saying, you're just a dude.
You're a dude. You're another dude.
That speaks
not
a
allowed to
whole
go
hell of a lot
first.
more intelligent than I do, and I talk a lot, but you speak just in the few words that you know what I mean. You could say 5 words to my 500, and those words really speak when you say them. Know that you're trustworthy, you're inspiring, and that speaks a lot about your character. Even when you're twerking.
No, go to the one above that. When in doubt, blame.
Battlefield,
Dango right.
that's learned behavior, not taught behavior. No. Somebody peed in your Cheerios. Don't do it, Zach.
Question number 5. What lessons can be learned from facing rejection, and how can those experiences be transformed into motivation to push forward and break barriers?
Trigger discipline.
There you go.
Steady aim. Oh, wait. Oh, hold on. Sorry, I didn't mean to go that way. I'm gonna let y'all answer first.
Okay, I'll go ahead and say mine.
Let
to get it out of the way.
let Tug go first. He's
Okay.
got it written down.
Life is all about obstacles. It's a necessary ingredient in the human condition, and rejection is just one obstacle among many. However, it should be tackled like any other, as something to experience, to learn from, and ultimately to overcome. I can't claim to comprehend what it feels like to be rejected in every possible way, but rejection is nevertheless a universal phenomenon we all must deal with. But remember, the strongest trees are the ones that have pushed through the most damage, taken every punishment that nature can inflict. We can only grow a strong immune system if we get sick, and we can become truly compassionate when we know what it's like to face hardship. That's how evolution works, and it's what makes us human. That's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, I would piggyback off of that and say, Zach, whatever hardships you have faced, and my God, I know they are worse than I have faced.
Yeah.
But I will say this: everybody faces something. Everybody has their own little thing. And I will say this also: you are only competing against yourself. You are only competing against yourself. So where I have my problems and my things where I've been rejected vehemently, like especially with music, being told like it's too noisy, it's too loud, we don't want it, stuff like that, and
It's too damn loud.
It's too damn loud. You guys don't tour enough, stuff like that. We're not going to sign you for this. And then eventually something came along and it was the perfect fit. That I truly believe that is for every person. Every person faces those kinds of things. And it's a little personal thing. And that's it.
Well, like for me, my personal story, like I was in a band, and when I was about to move to a completely different city to be part of this band full time, to make this like my career. And right before I finally pulled the trigger and made the move, the band broke up for reasons that I to this day still don't really comprehend. But just a month later, the woman who would become my wife decides that she's going to come down and see me. And that's when we decide we're going to get married and move off to Maryland together and have babies and the whole 9 yards. And like, that couldn't have happened if I'd already gotten entwined in this whole band thing. Like, I wouldn't have had that opportunity. So sometimes life will throw some, sorry, I have to say it, life will throw shit at you, and it's going to suck and it's going to hurt. But sometimes there is a reason for it. And sometimes if you let life flow over you, you know, like
Yes.
good things will happen.
Yeah. You got to roll with it. You got to roll with it.
Zach, I always say, you've heard me say it 100 times, I am my own worst enemy. I beat me up more than anybody could ever. You know what I mean? When things are thrown at you, it's how you take it. You can't control others' behavior. You can only control how you react to it. And
True.
it's hard when, like, and you're like, people say the same thing over and over. You want to believe the things that they're saying, but at the same time, hopefully as you get older, you realize, like, I'm not what these people say. And sometimes they just don't like you because you're you. It has nothing to do with anything
Yeah,
about it's
exactly.
just because you're you, and adapt and overcome. That's a hard thing to do, but here I'm saying, I mean, I can preach it all day long, but it's hard to live it. Or when you're faced with different obstacles, and it's not just abilities, it's you're too tall, you're too short, you're too fat, you're too skinny, or you're not educated enough, or you're overly qualified. It's just everyday life. No matter what, there's always going to be people that don't like you, and some just because you're you. You know what I mean? Jealousy is disgusting. Jealousy will destroy you.
Jealousy. Don't let jealousy rule your life. Do
No.
not let jealousy rule your life. That's why I was saying, like, you're only competing against yourself.
Yourself,
You're
yes.
No, and that
literally only competing against yourself.
My
completely
deepest
agree.
wounds
That
are
was one of the hardest things for me to
self-inflicted,
learn.
And if you start thinking about, like, oh, this band that I was hanging out, now they're the top band, and why am I not the top band?
Right.
That's just going to insert lots.
How can the Twilight books get published and my book can't? That kind
Oh,
of stuff.
Jesus Christ! why was that 200-year-old vampire dating a 17-year-old, and they somehow get away with printing that? Yeah.
I don't remember what movie it may be. Where they had the Jamaican bops. Coming to America. Maybe I don't remember what movie it is. But when he says
Cool Runnings.
Yeah, it's Cool Runnings.
Yes, I'm pride. I'm power. I'm a
Jamaican
badass
book
mother.
said.
Based
Don't
on a
take shit.
true
Yes.
story.
That's the thing you got to tell yourself every day. Look in the, you are your own worst enemy. So if you tell yourself every day, I am enough. I am a boss. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like if you just go to like personal relationships, like if you're looking for someone to love and someone who loves you, and you see all these other people who can find it, and you seem to not be able to, you get into that like incel thinking. You like, why are they all into these other people who are worse than me and not into me? They must like assholes. Like that's how you become an incel.
The best thing I've heard about that is, how come those two people living under the bridge have found love and I?
Right.
Right.
And you should never compare yourself to somebody else.
Yeah, just don't do it, because you'll just drive yourself insane.
And with the internet, sadly, it has made society think that that's what we should do. Like, they want you, you should look a certain way or act a certain way or eat a certain thing
or. Bring that question back up, because.
Sorry, Sig, I got way off topic.
Greetings and good night, Danny. I didn't see you.
What lessons can be learned from facing rejection? Like I said earlier, trigger discipline. The main lesson you can learn from that is how to deal with it.
Yes.
Okay. You have to go into life and understand the simple word no. There are so many entitled people out there.
Yes.
There are so many entitled ones. This is the ones like the types I like to cover in my soft sit videos, the Karen videos, stuff like that. Blah 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 blah. These are people that they seem like they've never heard the word no from their parents in their life. All right, and once you're told no at an early age, it's just like, huh? Yes, you gotta understand you can't do what you want to do. So that's rejection. But to go into the second part of that, and how can those experiences be transformed into motivation to push you forward and break barriers? It pushes you to be a better person, you piece of
let it kick you in the butt.
That kick in the butt. Hey, life is not gonna cater to you. You need to understand that society operates in a certain way, and also, by the way, there are laws, rules, regulations, statutes. There are things that are actually in place that you need to abide by. And you might need to realize that this really falls into some soft sit crap here. Wow. You need to understand the world does not revolve around you. You got to
Right.
understand that no means no, especially in the sense of legality. It means no. I think I'm done. Pop that question back up there right quick. I think I'm done with that. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, the motivation. Yeah, to push yourself to be a better person. If these people ever wake up and realize that they're doing the dumb stuff and it's not working for every time they do the dumb damn thing, um, and you realize it's not working for you, it's not working. How come every time I try to, it doesn't work? It doesn't work. That should be your motivation to figure out what am I doing wrong? How do I need to make this work for me? Okay, you get motivated to learn what actual proper procedure in the sense like a proper procedure legally and maybe just a societal standard of what do I need to do to be accepted. That should be motivation, whether it's legal or just outside of the box of legal. Just, you don't go into a McDonald's and, drop your pants. You don't go to a steakhouse and say,
Don't kink shame me.
let me get this steak well done, and can you put ketchup on it? It's things like that. You learn how to properly present yourself into a functioning society. I'm sorry if I'm sounding long-winded, but I just remembered a bunch of things that I wanted to say about that second half of the question. But yes,
And you can't.
um,
It's you got to realize you can't fix everybody. Not everybody is gonna listen to
Want
what
to
you're
be fixed.
saying. You know what I mean? And some people are so comfortable with being a-holes, and that's how they're always. It's got them. It gets you attention. You know what I mean? You treat it's negative attention, but it's attention, and they'll never change. They'll never understand. They'll never take the time to understand.
yeah,
And change is scary.
they say any publicity is good publicity, but nah, I don't agree with that.
I don't either.
I think Rachel Zegler's proved that one wrong.
Yeah.
Ha!
It goes back to the 3 C's. You have to make the choice to choose to change. I mean, there's no. And change is scary.
Yeah, it is. It's one of the
Change-
scariest things in the world.
Change is terrifying.
Hmm.
I hate it.
And entitled
I
people.
absolutely hate it.
That's like when
I
people,
agree.
entitlement will get. It's like the whole.
Rejection isn't something you just get used to. It doesn't get easier with time, nor does it lose its sting after repeated exposure. Every rejection cuts deep, leaving behind wounds that may not be visible but are just as real as any physical injury. When you live with unique abilities, those wounds come even more frequently. You face rejection in places others take for granted: jobs, friendships, relationships, even simple conversations. People assume, judge, dismiss, and exclude, all before they even try to understand. And when that happens over and over again, it becomes harder to push forward. Growing up, I thought rejection was just a part of life, something I had to endure silently. From being denied opportunities to being outright told I was less than, I internalized every word, every look, every action. I started believing that maybe the world was right, that maybe I was a burden, that maybe I wasn't supposed to take up space. The weight of rejection became suffocating. It wasn't just a feeling, it was a constant reminder that no matter how much I tried, no matter how much effort I put in, I would always be seen as different. And not in a good way. But the truth is, rejection is only permanent if you let it be. That's not to say it doesn't hurt, it does. It's devastating, it's isolating, it's enough to break a person. But pushing forward isn't about avoiding rejection. It's about choosing to keep going despite it. It's about refusing to let other people's opinions define who you are and what you're capable of. I won't lie and say that I've mastered this. There are still days when rejection eats at me, when it takes me back to the lowest points of my life. When I remember the cruel words, the lost opportunities, the times I wasn't even given a chance. But the difference now is that I know I'm not alone. I know that the community we've built is full of people who have felt the same pain, who have walked similar roads, who understand what it means to be pushed aside but refuse to stay down. Pushing forward is a decision. A hard one. A painful one. But it's one that I make every single day. Because I refuse to let the world dictate my worth. I refuse to let the words of those who have never lived my life determine how far I can go. I refuse to let rejection stop me from showing up, from speaking out, from building something greater than myself. And that's what I want others to understand. Rejection is a part of life, but it is not the end of your story. Every rejection, every closed door, every person who has doubted you, none of it can stop you unless you let it. The path forward may not be easy, but it is always there. And sometimes, the only way to see it is to keep moving. UP out.
Hey Zach, I was going to say something. It fits. It's off topic, but it fits the narrative of understanding and taking the time to understand things. Well, just a broad example. Everybody knows we have the freedom of speech. Everybody knows, you know what I mean? I have the freedom of speech. But what people fail to realize, if they don't understand, you have the freedom of speech. You can say what you want, but that doesn't mean there aren't consequences to the things that you say. You're allowed to say it, but there's consequences to some things you say. It's all about understanding things in life.
Well, not exactly, no. There is a limit. Like, okay, yes, you do have freedom of speech. Okay. Yes, you do. But like when it comes to you, let's just say I'm gonna use the most extreme example just out of whatever, just being extreme. You can't go to a daycare center and start screaming profanities.
Right.
That
You
is
can,
not
but there's consequences
protected.
to that. Exactly. Yes. But what I'm saying is
Yeah.
people take the things at face value. Like, oh, I have the freedom of speech. Well, yeah, but you got to think into that. Just you have the freedoms, but that doesn't. You don't have the
No,
freedom of the consequences.
you have freedom of speech, but not freedom of consequences.
Right. But
Mm.
some people just don't take the time to understand things to the fullest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They just take it at face value. I just only use the freedom of speech thing because it's like something that everybody knows, and it's like there's more to just the freedom of speech aspect of it.
And Zach, I have to disagree with you. I have to
Mm-mm.
actually disagree with you, good sir, because rejection does get easier. It gets so much easier as life goes on. But what you're talking about, like now, some of the things you said were true, like those initial rejections, they stick with you. And when you remember them, it's like a knife in the heart every damn time. But it gets easier. And like I know like you're gonna agree with me on some point on this, where like someone has done something to you where you've been able to brush it off easier than the last time that it happened. It gets easier.
Yeah, it does. The 100th rejection letter was a lot easier than the first. But
Yeah.
I will say I did take that very first rejection letter and frame it. So I always have it. And I always have it as a reminder of what it felt like. Even though it felt awful and I hated it, it's always there. It's always teaching me something.
Oh God, yeah.
Rejection should keep you pushing forward.
Yeah, exactly.
there's
It's that kick in the, like I
more-
was telling Sick, you got to let it kick you in the butt.
You have more people rooting for you than against you, always. And
That's
I know
true.
people don't think that, but there's always someone out there that's secretly waiting for you to fail. No matter what you do, there's always that somebody.
There are people waiting for you to fail, and there are also people searching you out, waiting for you to come along into their life.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I really do have the rose-colored glasses tonight, don't I?
You're being
Like,
so wholesome.
Yeah,
You're like,
no,
yeah,
no,
everything's getting better. It's great.
no, it is. It is. Like
I agree with you. It's
like
just funny.
it's getting better. Yeah.
I think
like-
we do underestimate how much progress we've made as a society, just in general. And
Yeah.
things like things like how we include people, like my son and the stuff that he's had to deal with. If this had been 20 years ago, completely different story.
Yeah.
You know,
And go back 20 years past that. Go back 40
even worse.
years.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. To where it would have been like hospital.
Right.
That's it. 8 years old, hospital.
Incurable wing. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dear God. My
See, the-
God.
If the pain doesn't go away, you just become stronger. And
Yeah. It always
you gain coping skills and you learn how to.
I do
deal
think it
with
gets
that.
easier, but it never stops hurting.
Oh yeah,
Like it's always there.
especially when it comes from the people closest to you.
Yeah. Especially when it comes to the people closest to you.
Well, usually the people closest to you truly don't understand the art that is being made or what is being done.
Yeah, and then you have to try to make them understand.
Yeah, and they don't care because they just want to eat supper. They don't want to talk about that.
Mhm.
And that's
It's
where you get to the
uncomfortable.
trigger discipline, right?
Yes.
Yep. That's where you got to control that anger on that.
Because it's hard.
Any final words for tonight?
Zach, I think it's hard to not let sadness turn into anger. Then when you become angry, you become bitter, and it takes a strong person not to lash out and treat others poorly. You know what I mean? Like, it's so much easier when you're hurting to try and hurt somebody else so that they hurt too. You know what I mean?
Leads
That's,
to suffering.
Yeah. Misery loves company. And it takes a strong person. and
Yeah,
to do the damn thing.
I can only agree with you. Absolutely. People need to wake the. Dear God, I almost went to cussing again. People need to wake up. People need to wake up.
It sounds more convincing when you say bad words, Sick. I'm just being honest.
People need to wake up and understand what's going on in this world. Everybody's not the same. Everybody is not what you want them to be. There are real people in this world that do different things, act different ways. You need to understand that there needs to be more education on that. Maybe we'll get somewhere that way. I don't know. I don't see it. Because we got too much division going on in this country right now, as it is being in whatever sense. But people with their uniqueness, I think that should be, yes, addressed more instead of your political party affiliation. To hell with that.
Yes.
To hell with that. Let's look more at these people. And now, while we're going through this process of Elon Musk and his going through with him and Doge finding out wasted things, okay, what are we really looking for here? What are we really cutting off? What are we really turning off? Oh, this, that. We found this, we found that. Okay, fine, whatever. But what at the same time are we taking care of the people that are legally getting these benefits from the government, that some of these programs are trying to not cut off but downsize? Or is equal justice going on here? But with that in mind, together as a people, we definitely need to come together and understand each other. We need to work together and let's make this country run properly. Let's get things going, man. Let's get the business. Long before enough, we're gonna be. Wow, did I really say it that way? Long before enough? What the hell is wrong with me? Either way, long before enough, and I said it again. We're gonna be Antarctica. It's just like, I'm like, hi, I'm in Antarctica, but I'm gonna stop on that one. I'm
I
done.
think
I'm done.
Okay,
I'm
I
done.
will
I'm done.
amend my statement, and I will say that yeah, things are getting better in a lot of ways, but politics maybe not.
Yeah, yeah.
I think society, and you get trapped in the black hole of society. Like you see more bad news than good news. They don't ever, you don't never see them
Oh yeah, if it
broadcast
bleeds, it
good things
leads.
that
Yeah.
happen. It's always bad things that happen. You know what I mean? Negative things.
Oh, where
Some
did
people,
Zach go?
some people just wake up angry all the like. I don't
I
get it.
used to.
Oh,
I
there
used
he
to
is.
wake up angry. Hey, that was me. I used to wake up angry.
But didn't it make for a bad day though? Your whole when you
It
wake up
made a
in
terrible day.
the whole day, when you wake up in a bad
Look,
mood, that's how your whole day is gonna go. Your whole day.
I cannot tell you how much better my day goes when I walk into places and I go like, "Hello, ladies, how are y'all
Right.
doing today?" And they're like, "What the fuck?" But look at me like, "What? Why is he so happy?"
And some days you have
Like
to
literally.
fake. Right. Some days
And
you just have to
I'm
fake
not
it to make
that and
it.
I'm not that happy. I'm just, "Hello, ladies, how are y'all doing?" And then
Right.
that, but eventually that has built up to where like I've got friendships around this place now where people like me and stuff like that, you know. But I used to be a very, very bitter guy, very bitter,
Right. And
very
then when
bitter.
you
Yeah,
wake up angry,
same.
that just
And
that's setting the
sorry
mood.
and also sorry for cussing on your stream there, Zach. I just dropped an F-bomb. Sorry about that, buddy.
I'm
Sorry about
too
that.
old to wake up angry. I just wake up tired. But yeah, I used to be a very bitter, jaded guy. Like
Yeah.
I
Oh,
used
me
to be
too.
just like that. I used to wake up angry, and
Or the
life
victim
sucked.
mentality, like why me? Why am I going through
It's a
this? You know?
self-fulfilling prophecy.
But it sets the tone for your whole day.
Yeah.
And that's like
I
I've always
will
been a
Zach,
big one about
Zach, hey, Zach,
good
I
morning.
will
before you
argue the hell out
hit those
Well,
buttons,
you're an
Zach,
angry black
this has
man.
been an excellent topic tonight, man.
Mhm, yes,
This has
it
been
has.
It
an
has.
excellent
Yeah.
topic.
And you picked a really good panel for it.
And yeah, and you picked the good guys for it. Yeah.
And
You
girl.
got
No,
us
I'm
And
kidding.
girl.
I'm sorry, madam. I'm sorry, madam.
I'm just messing with you.
I
No, I
call everybody guys.
Yeah.
I'm
But
sorry.
it's like I've always been big
I gotta
about like
argue with
even if
Jamie.
whether I've
Of
had a
course you
good
gotta
day
argue.
or a bad day, when I wake up, I like to
Well,
send
she's full of it.
good morning messages to my Facebook friends, my YouTube friends, my real life friend. I always try to extend the good mornings. You know what I mean? Just if nobody said it to you or if you're having a bad day, just know that I want you to have a good morning. And good night, the same thing. Like don't go to bed bitter and wake up. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm a weirdo sometimes.
No, I mean, yeah, not going to sleep angry is really
Yeah,
important.
I may be the only one that tells them good morning or you're fabulous or just smile. Sometimes just a smile will take, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
It's
I
like when
do.
you like in our neighborhood, you see a guy that's always sitting outside. You're having a bad day, but as soon as you drive by that one house every day, that person's going to be out there and no matter what, they're going to wave at you and it changes your whole day, and
I
when
don't
you
know. I have that
when
one
you
guy
don't
on my
see
street
him,
who's always flicking me off. So, you know.
when you don't see him, like you wonder about, you know what I mean? Like they just become part of your routine.
So tell me how your morning mood sets the mood for the rest of your day.
I mean that's just like maybe that's just my belief, like that's what I've became accustomed to, and like I feel like how your attitude is when you wake up. I feel like that sets the tone. Not that you're going to be angry all it, but it just sets the tone for the rest of your day. You can either choose to change that bitterness, and make it a better day, or You can sulk in the, you know what I mean?
Or try drugs.
I mean that too. Maybe some whiskey. You know, you never know.
Yeah.
I know
So
a guy.
you,
That doesn't work. That doesn't work. Whiskey
Whiskey
doesn't work.
you angry.
Whiskey doesn't work.
There's always something to numb the
Whiskey
pain.
doesn't work. No.
Zach
You-
said that
you-
so
booger sugar.
You can only numb it so far until you have to face
But
what's
that's
in front of you.
but you just said it. You numb it. You numb it. You don't take it away. It's just numbed.
So
Yeah.
you've never driven an 18-wheeler across the country?
No, hell no, that scares me. No
That's
way.
not what she's talking about, Buff.
No,
I
it's the
think you deal with
same
some
mindset.
nonsense.
It's
Well, you're
the
talking about
same.
road rage. That's
mindset.
I think it would
totally
be
Yeah.
a beautiful thing to see the world, but at the same time, I couldn't deal with
There's nothing to see out here.
uneducated. I couldn't
I
deal
mean,
with other drivers on a. I'm not a very peoply person.
Yeah, hell is other people. Yeah.
Yeah, because sadly, common sense isn't so common nowadays.
yes. Oh, I'm so glad you said that. I love that quote. Common sense is not so common. It isn't. It is not. It is not. I
It's
hate
even
people.
yeah, it's even worse when they're entitled and they think that what they're saying is entitled. You know what I mean? Like
Yes. Yes. Keep
it's not.
talking. Keep
It's not a
talking.
good time. I don't deal with ignorance and entitlement. It drives me insane. I can't stand. It makes me an angry person. I just want to grab a hold of them and shake them and be like, "Do you realize that you sound so much smarter when you say nothing at all?"
Yes,
It's like I
absolutely.
throat punch people in my mind several times a day.
Oh, I
say
do it in real life.
I say "what the" in my
I have
mind over and
7
over.
pending charges.
Have
But
you ever been
you know, I
talking to
mean,
somebody and you say "what the" about 11 times in your mind? Like, are you serious right now? Sometimes the words come out and I don't mean for them to, and it's like, damn. But some
and
people
see,
just need to be told that what they're saying isn't right or isn't okay to be saying.
and that kind of is like why I cover soft sits. Fucking these people I've noticed as I've been going through this fucking shit of like
Okay.
I like to do shit on videos about these idiots, but I'm seeing more and more and more in my home state, and
Right.
it is making me absolutely disturbed because I'm gonna be there's a possibility I'm gonna be out here in my vehicle, my personal pickup truck that is insured, registered, everything legit, and I'm gonna get hit by one of these some bitches, and I don't answer the laws. I'm not under the authority of the United States. You're not
Mm-hmm.
my jurisdiction, kind of shit. And I'm gonna end up pistol whipping you. And it's that authoritarian complex in the sense of you
Entitlement.
think you're better. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's the word I was looking for. Entitlement. Dear God, these.
And it's crazy because I mean, like me, I'm a mother. You know, I have everybody knows I have a shit ton. Sorry, Zach, a crap ton of kids. It's like the things that I teach to my kids,
Well,
and
we
then you
lost
run
Zach
into these
again.
these
He's
adults.
just
and
lost
it's like,
control. He's walked away.
these adults don't get it. It's like you're 40, 50 years old, and I teach my kids to not do the things that you're doing. Like, it's insane. Like, that's like,
Yeah.
for example, you got this fools are hopping on the internet. Well, I'm a proud felon. Whoever in their right mind is proud to be a felon? Like, are you serious right now? You could be like, hey, I got in some trouble. It sucks. I learned from it. I moved on. But no, the words that came out of your mouth, I'm a proud felon. Are you serious right now?
What
Like,
channels have you been hanging out on, madam?
I mean, I'm not. It's just in general. Like, it's sick and disturbing. Like, I don't understand. Like, you're proud of being a POS. Like, come on now.
Yeah, there are those people in the world.
Look, and it just makes my blood pressure just thinking about it. Like, it makes you just want to, like, these people walk amongst us. You know what I mean? It's sick and sad. And,
Yes.
Hey, Zach, are you needing to hit that STFU button.
Sorry, Zach. I'll shut up
You had that look on your face.
because I'll keep ranting.
The journey through rejection, pain, and resilience is never an easy one. It's filled with moments of deep loneliness, frustration, and questioning why things happen the way they do. But within all of that struggle, there is still a spark of strength, a reason to keep going, a reason to keep believing that something better is ahead. Life doesn't always give explanations for the hardships endured, but sometimes, the understanding comes later, when the pain turns into wisdom, and the past becomes a tool to help others going through the same battles. Every person watching, every person who has taken the time to listen, comment, and be a part of this community, you are part of something greater. You are part of a movement that stands for more than just prepping. This is a space where people can share their stories without judgment, where they can be heard instead of dismissed. Everyone here carries their own struggles, their own pain, but what makes this community special is that no one has to carry them alone. The strength found here isn't just in survival tactics or stockpiling supplies. True strength is found in unity, in the understanding that the weight of the world doesn't feel as heavy when it's carried together. There is power in knowing that even after being rejected, there is still a place where you are wanted. There is still a place where you belong. The world may turn its back, but that doesn't mean you stop existing. That doesn't mean you stop pushing forward. Being part of this community has given me something I never thought I would have: hope. Hope that no matter how many times the world has tried to tear me down, there will always be people who remind me why I keep going. Hope that every painful experience, every rejection, wasn't for nothing. Hope that by speaking out, by sharing these experiences, someone else out there will realize that they aren't alone in their struggles. Pain doesn't have to define a person. The past doesn't have to be a prison. Every wound, every scar, every moment of being cast aside can be turned into fuel to build something greater. Every time rejection tries to steal away the last bit of confidence, there is a choice, to let it win or to stand up and prove that it won't break you. That choice isn't always easy, but it is always there, waiting to be taken. This community has become a light in the darkness, not just for me, but for so many others who have been overlooked and underestimated. It has become a place where people can speak their truth without fear, where they can connect with others who truly understand what it means to struggle, what it means to fight, what it means to keep going when everything tries to hold them back. That is something special. That is something that cannot be taken away. If you've ever felt like you weren't enough, like the world had no place for you, like every attempt to belong only led to more rejection, know that you are not alone. Know that your story matters. Know that there is a reason you are still here, that there is something inside of you that no one can take away. Every moment of survival, every day you push forward, is proof that you are stronger than you think. For anything related to unique prepping, visit the Linktree link in the description. Stay connected, stay involved, and continue being part of something that goes beyond just prepping. It's about purpose, resilience, and community. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share this video so that more people can find the support and encouragement they need. I love you all. Fear thou not, for I am with thee, be not dismayed, for I am thy God, I will strengthen thee, yeah, I will help thee, yeah, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. Isaiah 41 verse 10. Stay prepared, stay unique, and God bless.
Making moves like a chess piece, always on the grind. In this game called life, gotta sharpen up the mind. Elite prepping, got the vision locked and loaded. Every challenge that arises, I'm determined, I'm devoted. Stay ready for the call, answer life's demands, and we'll rise together. We'll take our stance. Unique, prepping, it's more than a show. We're building foundations, we're ready to grow. Like, share, comment, let your voice be known. Together we can thrive, we're never alone. Every view, every like, your support is the fire that keeps me hyped. Common depth and insight, share the vision wide. This community's growing and we'll ride this tide. So go ahead and subscribe, don't miss a beat. Tune in next time, let's make this complete. Unique, prepping, it's more than a show. We're building foundations, we're ready to grow. Like, share, comment, let your voice be known. Together we can thrive, we're never alone. Let that fire ignite. See you next time, let's keep it bright. Like, share, comment. Prepping, it's more than a show. We're building foundations, we're ready to grow. Like, share, comment, let your voice be known. Together we can thrive, we're never alone. You pushing forward, let that fire ignite. See you next time, let's make this complete. Unique, prepping, it's more than a show. We're building foundations, we're ready to grow. Like, share, comment, let your voice be known. Together we can thrive, we're never alone. Never alone. Never alone. Keep pushing forward, let that fire ignite. See you next time, let's keep it bright. Yeah. Let that fire ignite. See you next time, let's keep it bright.
Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Matthew 5 verse 9 KJV.